All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. This is the monthly Secure and Govern product sync with some of our field team. Looks like we've got a good read-only in there. We have some strategy reviews that are going to be, I guess we've already done the Govern pre-record, and we have the deck as well. Secure is happening later today. There's the slides if you'd like to take a look. Definitely worth seeing a recap of everything both teams have done over the last 6 months and what we've got coming up in the next 6 months. And then Sam, it looks like you've got I think the first and only update we've got right now for the product side.
Yeah,
Sorry, Sam, what?
I just want to signal boost two big changes that we've got coming. These are going to, impact your customers in the form of deprecations. We try to not deprecate things until we have a replacement available. So we have not officially announced these as deprecations yet, but I wanted to give all of you just a heads up on what our plans are and what we have coming. I know some of this we've talked about in the past, but this is going to impact all of your customers. So the first one is we plan on deprecating the license compliant scanning job in 15.10. If we can do it earlier, we will in 15.9, but in 15.10 at the latest. Basically, what this means is that users will still be able to do license scanning, but they will need to run the container and dependency scanning jobs. So we're just consolidating our analyzers here. Dependency and container scanning are going to be able to do both vulnerability and license compliance, essentially. But if you have a customer who was running just license compliance and not dependency scanning, it will stop working potentially come 16.0. So they will need to switch over and run those instead. The second one is very similar to how we deprecated and removed vulnerability check in 15.0. We are planning the same for license check here in 16.0. So we're actively working on building out license approval policies. These will show up in the security and compliance policy edit area. And again, we hope to have that functionality available no later than 15.10 so that we can deprecate license check and customers can move over, and then we can remove it in 16.0. We tried to do like an auto migration thing in 15.0 for vulnerability check. That auto migration did not work and was not successful. And we got a lot of feedback from customers who did not want us to automatically open up merge requests into their security policy projects for them. So we will not be attempting to auto migrate, and instead we will rely on the customers to create, basically do their own migration between the 15.10 and 16.0 releases. So just a heads up on those two areas that are coming up, so that you can, work with your customers to plan accordingly. That's all I have, unless there are any comments or questions. Over to Derek.
Yeah, I just realized that I needed to make sure you were all aware of this. The browser-based DAS that we've been working on for quite a while, we're going to be launching that as GA in 15.7, so it won't be in beta anymore. We won't be switching the default DAS scanner. It will still be the legacy scanner that uses ZAP in the DAS template. But in the DAS-latest template, we will be switching it to be the browser-based scanner. So what this really means is that the Spider, the auth service, and the passive vulnerability checks are GA and will be run using the browser-based scanner. The active vulnerability checks right now will be still using the legacy DAS scanner or analyzer with ZAP. And those, as we finish each one of those, they'll be released to the browser-based analyzer, and they will be run in the browser-based side of things rather than the ZAP analyzer, the proxy-based analyzer. So that, that's happening in 15.7, and we'll keep working on improvements to that and the active checks in the upcoming milestones.
All right. Do we have any other product related questions before we cut over to the private recording section?
One question I do have about browser-based DAS scanning, Derek, is with regards to those customers that run DAST offline. There has been some concern with regards to certificate and certificate authorization type models. Are those inclusive in the browser-based DAST, or is that a later feature that you're planning?
So there's a couple of things around that. One would be if they're worried about things like mutual TLS, that is definitely something that's being included in browser-based DAS. If they're worried about like certificate errors because it's an internal system that maybe they don't have a CA set up or something that you'd get an error whenever you try to access that, we're actively ignoring any cert errors right now because we know that these are going to be internal systems. We actually, tell people not to use them on their production systems that would give you the real cert. So we're ignoring any cert errors for now, simply because we know that it's going to be an internal system.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Last call. Let me go ahead and stop it.